I know it's been a while since I posted, so I am hopefully gonna make a few videos right out of the gate again and kind of catch up. I've been very busy and very stressed out lately about financial situations. I had a car transmission blow up. I mean, needless to say, long story. For another time. What I kind of want to talk about today is I had a very interesting conversation with my mother the other day, and it dawned on me that people don't understand the transition. They're not against it. They're not damning me for it. And that's exactly what my mama told me about my brothers. I have 3 brothers. And when I ask her about them, because we don't talk much, me and my brothers, they always, my mom will tell me, they support you. They don't understand it, but they support you. And basically what I'm saying is I don't really understand it. It's one of those things that, first of all, let me just crush the whole it's a choice thing, or and I've heard that my whole life when people were referring to gay people or bisexual people. Oh, that's a choice. That's something that they're choosing to do versus something that they have to do. But if you actually break that down, if you actually look at it for what it is, what sane person would actually choose to be homosexual? What sane person would actually choose to be transgender? If you look back, when I was a kid, it was like, very taboo for someone to be gay. And there was a lot of hatred toward gay people back then. In fact, I remember when the hate crime law came out, there's still a lot of hate for it. But basically, everybody always says that they're choosing to be that way. You're choosing to do this. It's not, God's will. It's not this. It's not that. But think about that. Now, I'm a sane person. I'm 36 years old. I've been a man my whole life. I was a boy my whole life. I made a conscious decision back in the day not to deal with this. I made a conscious decision to start a family, to be what I considered a normal boy, and live the rest of my days in this body that felt very awkward to me, and it felt kind of weird. It kind of made me feel, I don't know what's a good word for it. It kind of made me feel out of place in every situation. And it's tough. It's tough because you want to be something and you can't. And even though I chose not to be, and I went about living my life for 35 years, you have to say to yourself, if it was a choice, why would I go ahead and risk everything? Why would I risk losing my family? Why would I risk losing my daughter? Why would I risk take this chance of never getting hired again, or never being able to go out and just have a night on the town, or a trip to the grocery store without catching weird looks and being that person that if somebody makes you get snickered at, or think about that. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? I chose not to do this. But as fate may have it, there's a lot of mental stress from being in the wrong body. There's a lot of guilt, and there's a lot of shame involved with it, and there's a lot of, which I know that gay people go through too. I know that I have a lot of gay friends, and most of them have terrible stories about coming out. Most of them wish they were straight so they wouldn't have to go through the scrutiny or go through the pain that they had to endure to get to where they were at to this point. Fortunately for me, it's been a little bit different. I haven't had to deal with a lot of stuff that I probably would have if I would have started this transition, years ago. Because my family's growing as people have grown as people, and they're not as judging, and they're not just assholes like they were back in the day. Um, Needless to say, so if you think about it on that in that aspect, it's not a choice, and even though you don't understand it, and I don't even really understand it, to be honest with you. It's just a feeling that you have, and it affects your whole life. I mean, imagine being married and having a beautiful child with a woman and being jealous of your wife. And you go, why would you be jealous of your wife? Because you felt like your daughter's mother. Because everything that you saw your wife go through, you wished you could have gone through. It's a weird feeling, I know. It's hard to explain, yes. But it is real, and it is something that, when they told me I had non-epileptic seizures, and that they're going to send me to therapy for it, I was like, oh my god, I know what this is all about right off the get, you know what I mean? So it could only be one thing, and it was. My seizures, if I do still seizure, I'm assuming I don't, because I haven't had one in a long, long time. But if I do, it's probably just a real mild, rare occurrence. And I like it like that. And I can tell you from personal experience that there's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons to transitioning. Do the pros outweigh the cons? I don't know. But for me, I can just tell I'm more happy. Even my daughter, my 11-year-old daughter, my 12-year-old daughter goes, matters, you smile so much more, and you never did before. You smile now. And I never realized that she noticed that. I never realized that I wasn't smiling. You know what I mean? I was sad all the time, and I was terrified my whole life that this was going to come out, and it was going to be life ending. It was going to be terrible for me. And so just know that it's not a choice. And if if this helps you understand it all, I hope it did. But if it did, great. If it didn't, then at least you've heard a perspective that you may not have heard before. And that's all we can do is just share each other's perspectives on these things, and hopefully give you guys an idea of why somebody would do this. It's not necessarily because they want to. It's not necessarily because they like to put on women's clothes, or it's not a sexual thing. It is being comfortable and feeling like you don't have to put on a show for everybody. And that's kind of like what it was before I transitioned. It was like I created this character, and even though I'm still the same person and I'm still the same, I still enjoy the same things, I still do that. It was like in my mind I was just this character that I had made up, that what I perceived men should be, and I had to play this role 24 hours a day, every day of my life, and that wears thin, and it really damages your spirit. It really damages your soul. You know what I mean? And now I feel like I'm finally showing the world that this is the real me, and getting to know my friends again for the first time, and getting to know life again as the way I wanted it, being able to wake up in the morning and put my makeup on. That's the way I've always wanted to go to work and never been able to go. There's things that I just do, and they feel right. And they're the things that I always watch my wife do. I don't know if you guys will think I'm a Fruit Loop for spilling all this stuff to you, but anyway, that's what goes on inside my head. So if you guys are having a hard time understanding it, then imagine how hard it is for me to understand it and wrap my own mind around it. All I can do is go with my heart and go with my gut, and keep smiling. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.